we have Dr. Subhas here, who is a
Yes.
resident psychiatrist working at Alamal Hospital for a long time and have got extensive experience in psychiatry. So we thought probably we'll have a extempore interview with Dr. Subhas, asking him about his life experiences. So over to Dr. Subhas. So tell us about yourself and why did you choose to come to the field of psychiatry?
Thank you, first of all, asking me this question. And in this beautiful atmosphere, as you can see, there's a fountain here making this lovely noise. Yeah, the main reason I thought how I chose to take up psychiatry almost nearly 30 years ago was because of my previous familiarity with mental health issues in my near and dear ones. I always knew right from the beginning when I took up medicine that I want to either be a philosopher or somebody who will be doing some literature subjects. And then in the turn of the events, it so happened that I chose to become a doctor. Then I thought psychiatry is probably the best branch where my ideas about philosophy and literature will come into play. And I have never been disappointed since I read a biography of Freud. His all creative writings within inverted commas. So from that point onward, I decided probably I'll be a psychiatrist. And in my third year onward, that idea was almost crystallized. And all my friends knew Subhas would be a psychiatrist one day. And probably from that point of view, I've not been disappointed. I've always enjoyed my journey as a psychiatrist, and I hope I'll be enjoying it throughout my life. So that's the main reason, to be in touch with the human psyche and to be able to use my fascination of philosophy and literature in the field of psychiatry. That's the only branch possibly which can give me those freedom.
So can you recall any one or two incidents in your medical school which you still go back and think about it, something which changed your thinking or actually reinforce your idea about psychiatry?
Yeah. I remember in my internship, one of my favorite times when I had in my mind that someday I'll become a psychiatrist, and we were posted in our elective psychiatric postings. It so happened that I went all clad up in apron. We went to the psychiatric ward. We had first of all difficulty finding the psychiatric ward, where it is. It was in an obscure corner of the hospital. And it was elective, I said. It was not compulsory to take that part of my training. But because I was interested, I went there. My interaction that day was fantastic. It so happened that the professor, who was quite renowned, he was supposed to give us a demonstration of how to interview all the interns, the psychiatric patients. So I went there. I was standing near the room of the famous professor, and then I see a group of people sitting there. Two ladies I found, they're pushing each other. You first, you first, you first. I said, what's happening? I was really surprised. And later on, I found out that one was supposed to see the psychiatrist, other was supposed to be the informant. But the person who was supposed to see the psychiatrist thought that the informant was the patient. So they had a real hard time finding out who is the real patient. And that really piqued my interest. Oh well, psychiatry is a lot of fun as well. It's not necessarily a drab or a very serious subject. So that is something I remember with lot of nostalgic memories there behind it.
So it's been 30 years, and I'm sure you've seen a lot of changes, a lot of growth, a lot of development in psychiatry.
Yeah.
Is there anything which you still feel frustrated about this field?
Well, frustration may be a hard word. I would say that there are certain areas which needs to be improved. Okay, and the most important aspect I believe today is those aspect of dynamics or dynamic psychiatry, as you talk about. There has been a lot of debate about psychiatry being a neurological science, and every behavior has got a organic counterpart. We know that, But at the end of the day, psychiatry is separate from other medical branches in the way that it is more humanistic. It is where two human beings interact with each other. All right? That aspect sometimes I feel is missing, especially with the advent of medications. Sometimes we believe that medication is a panacea, and unfortunately that model is ingrained in the mind of many doctors, including some of the psychiatrists. So the psychotherapeutic aspects, particularly the aspect dealing with the dynamic aspect, that is something that every resident in psychiatry should learn about. They should know about the long legacy, how psychiatry came into being. Yes, I understand we should use the modern technologies, including modern imageries and modern development, but we must not lose touch with our roots, which I believe is dynamic interaction with another individual.
On that note, probably one last question I would like to ask is, if you have to give one tip to the new residents who are joining psychiatry, what would that be?
Yes, I mean there are so many. So if I have to boil down to come to only a single tip, that's a new entrant to this branch of medicine has to adapt and develop. That is, try to learn from your patient. Books can teach you a lot, but real learning occurs with a real patient. Remember that. And as long as that is there in your mind, everything will be a child's play. And if you have love for the subject, nothing else is there to bind you anywhere else. I hope that satisfies.
Thank you, Dr. Subhas, for spending some time with us in an ad hoc kind of interview. Thank you very much. And
you are welcome. I'm so happy that I could sort of
privileged to work with Dr. Subhas. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.